You're the fat baby.
Guys, let's just be fat dogs about this.
Let's
Or
all
don't
get
have a
Mark
cow.
Twain.
Wait, Fat Bear Week is canceled because the government shut down.
No, they came to a deal.
Did
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another all-new X's for Show, your premier media response show. That, of course, makes me, Nico. You can catch the show at X's for Show on all your soch. And if you're looking to find out a little bit more about me, come check out the action at Nico Action. That's NICOACTION. Yeah.
you should let the other person in frame with you introduce themselves first.
Really, truly.
That's
but
why I paused.
Yeah,
it's unusual, but we'll go for it.
yeah.
And speaking of the unusual, which is very apropos of this episode, you can follow me on any socials at
What's your name?
Peak Jonah, because I'm Jonah. That's Peak.
And I'm TK. You can follow me at TK Elemental. Being surprised that the government shutdown was averted and I missed the news.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss most news, to be honest, which
Respect.
makes me your producer, Kevo Really, KEVOREALLY. And why are we here today, folks? Well, we are here to play a game.
You know, I was thinking about it, and the spooky season is upon us. It is spooktacular out.
It's Spooky Season Eve.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we are here just September 30th thing. Had to make sure there was a 31st. All over today, and I am so excited because when I think about Halloween, of course, I think about, spooky and creepy, and I do think about villains and like villain culture, and I couldn't think of anything that has more villains outside of the political system aforementioned than Disney movies and horror movies. So we decided we'd take a look at some significant Disney movies and some significant horror movies from matching years and compare their characters.
For fun.
I do want to throw out that some of these are Nico editorialized and are legitimately not the villain of the movie. One of them I really had to Google and like keep Googling and finally ask you, and you were like, nope, that's the villain. And I was like, I'm not going to argue because I didn't design this bracket, but that is canonistically not the villain of this movie.
I believe
I'm
you're
fascinated to know which one.
I think he's talking about Cars.
It is in fact Cars.
Oh my God, guys, I cannot tell you. So we were just on vacation in the amazingness that is Portland, Maine. What a beautiful place. I get to eat such incredible food and I have such unbelievably handsome company to stare at. But beyond that, that means that all of the settings in my studio were wrong. So I have been bathed in light for a minute and now I can finally see. So I just want to thank everybody for putting up with that for a minute.
That bathing is light.
Oh, that was rough. But, as always, on this show, we can't just start things. We have a hard time sticking to topic. And so our favorite thing in the entire world to do is to start with a question. And so, of course, we do have our big question to get us started today. And that is going to be, what makes a Disney villain for you? Who's your favorite? What makes that work for you? And in simultane, how about like major horror movie villains? What's your thing here? Special guest Jonah, Disney villain. Where's your head at?
Well, it's very great question about where my head is at, because this Disney villain has a very funny head, or a very unique head, I should say, in that my favorite Disney villain is probably Hades, because Hades is very camp. A lot of, there is that theory and the joke that, a lot of Disney villains are queer coded. But Hades is very funny to me in a lot of different ways, because a lot of the story about the antagonistic forces of Hercules and Hades, mucking about, really doesn't make a ton of sense. And he's just very jealous and bitchy and mean. And he's a big old like queen about everything. And it's very funny to me.
I would love to see a gay interpretation of Hades. Yeah.
And then for me, a good horror villain truly should be the vision of my nightmares, and this character goes in and out of nightmares. Freddy Krueger. I love the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. I think it's really fun. Like most horror franchises, kind of dips out in later additions and sequels, but like the first three, those original, I really love. I love the first two, and I think the third one is very funny.
Love it. You know, just on the subject of really great villains from Disney movies, for me, I think maybe the most perfect Disney villain of all time is Maleficent, with a weird backup asterisk for Chernabog. You know, it just turns out there weren't any recognizable horror movies the year Fantasia came out, or I would have really rigged this for Chernabog to win. Hey, sexy. So, you know, I think a good villain needs reasons for being evil, but also like some legit madness. And when I think about movie villains, nothing really comes to mind where I'm like, well, that's the one for me. But Gustavo Fring from Breaking Bad, that is terror for me. That is a real scary human being because he's real. He is the absolute soul-sucking worst that lives in every town, in every city in America. He really is there smiling at you while selling your kids drugs. And he is pure evil.
So is this only from the Disney animated catalog?
Well, I mean, push me. Let's see. Is it the tennis shoes?
Well,
the
you know, I'll say
shoes?
It's Disney, and technically this character is animated.
I mean, listen, there's no house from Smart House.
Mine is the Gnome King from Return to Oz.
Return to Oz. Nice.
Not from Romeo and Juliet, the Elton John penned low-budget animated musical that Disney re-released.
No, not Romeo and Juliet, the animated movie that they tried to really push about and made a couple sequels that did not go anywhere.
It's not that. Yeah. I love Disney's Return to Oz. I love that it is Disney's Return to Oz, and it would really actually be Mombi, but for the assignment of making it animated, the Gnome King, you know, it's claymation, but it counts.
And little known fact, the Gnome King is actually like the bad guy of Oz.
Yeah.
So really cool seeing, because like the Wicked Witch is literally nothing. She's literally nothing. She's only
even Mombi is not really that big a deal.
But so yeah, excellent choice.
Yeah, that's definitely my favorite. It terrified me as a child. Movie monster is gonna be the Cloverfield monster.
Because of the largeness.
Because it's in New York.
Yeah.
New York-based queen. Well,
that is
love.
Gotta say that's the biggest, meanest queen in New York, other than Leah Michelle. So.
Yep. Baby trying to walk around on its stilt legs, just destroying shit, like all babies do. Lives, like all babies do. And
New York City.
One of my like recurring nightmares prior to and after that movie was being in a helicopter and it getting downed by a monster. So that was like legitimately like a solid moment of really good jump scare for me, or like heightened scare for me. So I love that movie. I am super bummed that they have made a franchise where a franchise ought not to go. And it just gets worse and worse.
You wanted a franchise like Star Wars, and they gave you a franchise like Wendy's.
They gave me a franchise like a combination Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, and Wendy's.
Oh, like when a Nathan's has a Long John Silver's in there just to pay the rent on a Friday?
Exactly, and I don't want any of that. But the thing is, I actually like all three movies. It's just... they don't really technically belong together without work that they never bothered to do anyway.
I feel that way about the City Slickers movies.
Get the fuck out of here. Kevo, what are your answers?
You haven't seen the City Slickers movies. Get the fuck out of here.
I had the preview channel in 1994, so I've basically seen them both.
What are you nodding about? You don't know what the hell you weren't even born.
No, I wasn't.
You're not allowed to have him in frame after this episode. This is over. You don't get this little boo-boo bear in your picture frame with you. Nuts. These are some great answers so far. Freddy is obviously a classic. Cloverfield Monster, great one. I really love your villain as well. Any king of stone beings who can pull off wearing red sequin
Just
shoes.
slippers. He just
Yup.
likes to be comfy.
When
Also,
he
those are
revealed
not for his
those-
foot size.
Well, it's the magic. Or
Yep.
maybe his feet are magic because he's made of clay. I don't
Yep.
know.
Like
Oh.
Ickis and Oblina's professor on Our Real Monsters.
Yeah,
Freaky looking gargoyle thing, fabulous shoes.
and size changing like her or Ickis. I don't know. For Disney villains, I'm gonna give a shout out to just someone who's truly unhinged, both in her original and in her Once Upon a Time iteration, Cruella de Vil. Let's never underestimate how absolutely boffo crazy she went just for a friggin' coat. You need to calm down.
If it was a Birkin bag, we could talk.
Hello, Jacob.
Hi, Jacob.
Hello,
Oh,
Bondo.
movie monster. I'm gonna stick with monster because we used the word monster,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna go with just for rando shits and giggles, a classic creature from the lagoon.
Mm.
I
Do I have my
loved-
choice?
No, you don't.
Can I?
Uh,
Can I? Make...
No, you can't. I loved the movie Revenge of the Creature because they did it on Mystery Science Theater. So I'm not selecting Brooke Shields. Or I think Mila Jovovich is in the
Yeah, she's in the second one.
Yeah.
with Brian Krause
Yeah,
from
they are.
Charmed.
The,
Yeah,
They are the children of Brooke Shields.
crazy.
Yep.
Very different directions for those careers.
Wild.
Anyway,
Man.
I assume yours is Alien. It's Alien. It's the Xenomorph. It's the Alien.
The xenomorph.
Oh, I mean, mine was Gustavo.
His was
Fring.
Gus Fring, but I think
Oh,
that's
you went, that's right.
insane. I think that's insane when the alien exists, and Gus Fring is not a movie monster.
The alien
Yeah.
is my friend. So
Is
We're-
that why? Never mind. We're gonna get to it in a second.
Neither movie nor monster.
oh yeah, Prometheus. My choice on Prometheus. Yeah, I was never gonna pick the alien. The alien's not the bad guy of that.
It's an
oh.
innocent. It's an innocent.
The alien
Innocente.
the alien is not the bad guy of Prometheus. He's the bad guy of Covenant. He's not the no. Ridley Scott is the bad guy of Covenant. But
I mean,
Believe
really,
it or
the
not.
bad guy is.
Believe it or not, Ridley Scott.
oh yeah, Ridley Scott's Believe It or Not. Hmm.
It's Waylon Jennings is the bad guy of Prometheus
Yes.
because he went all the way to space just to stay young forever and made an abuse robot slave.
Just like
Wayland,
Contact.
Wayland and Madam. It's their.
Yeah,
They're the bad
it's
guys.
that's and Michael Fassbender is Madam.
Going into space to reduce the cancer so you don't die from it.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, because in space everything gets healthy. So we're gonna run right into this bracket before we go too far
Yep.
off the rails.
Please God, give me
For
a
the
sec.
record, Fassbender does kind of look like Madam. Just saying.
Yeah, I see it. I'm gonna get us all queued up. Nico, you got the
Oh,
the
I
sheet.
do.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
I'm stoked. I'm so stoked. This is like a dream sort of bracket.
Would you
because-
like to explain the game, or would you like me to explain the game?
Oh, I was ready to, because with
Okay.
bracketeering, it's sort of like your regular bracket game. But what we like to do is either add like a weird question or maybe tons of weird questions. But one thing we always do is we like to compare things that might surprise you a little bit. So in comparing these Disney villains with horror monsters from the same year, we are going to have a really fun time talking about what scares us more or what makes a better villain, right? So, Kevo, did I miss anything about the criteria? All right. Then I think without further ado,
right.
Senor
Down.
Piquet.
Let's get her pulled up. We're starting with the year 1988.
Now, I do want to make one comment about this use of 1988.
Yep.
I only picked this for Freddy Krueger because my rule was that it has to be the same year. And
Yeah.
until the Disney Renaissance, for the most part, who fucking cares? And so that's Little Mermaid. And
So you're saying that for in this case, the villain is Freddy Krueger, period, not Elm Street 4's Freddy Krueger. Because the thing is, we are about to rate 4 different ghost faces.
they're like 8 different people.
I know. So that like the ghost faces are very different. And for the ghost faces, you really do have to pick based on who is under the mask as well. But
Clearly, Scream 2 has the best ghost face.
yes, that is, well, I mean, we're going to get into it in a second. But anyway, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, like, regardless of which Freddy Krueger it is, it's fucking Judge Doom for
It
me.
is literally
Holy
my
shit,
childhood
did
nightmare.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Fucked me up as a kid forever.
100%. The high-pitched voice, the eyeballs popping out.
The way he dies.
Yep.
I have one of my very good and bestest friends, Joe, watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit as a kid, was so terrified of Judge that
Yep.
even in our 20s as adults in college, would not watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit because he was too scared.
Respect, dude.
Real
Mad
respect. Forever.
Yep.
I mean, I can't believe Christopher Lloyd bounced back.
Yep.
If I didn't love the concept of cartoons being real and interacting with the physical world as much
Yep.
as I did,
Yep.
probably same, but like that's the only thing that superseded it and made me love the movie. I just wouldn't think about the ending usually.
Yep.
You know,
Well, we've got our 3 votes, so I'm locking this one in right now.
Locked in.
you know,
Sorry,
and
Freddy.
that's the thing. I think Freddy Krueger is such a valid character, and he's such an
Yeah.
important thing in horror franchise history. It's just the way the numbers shook out, man. It's sending Pangina home. It's just the way the math worked.
So now we're jumping forward to 2000.
Yeah, there's great symmetry on these images.
So I love the year 2000 for a million reasons. I graduated 8th grade. Tori Amos was at the top of her game.
It's 2002.
I love 2002. I had just graduated 10th grade. Tori Amos was still at the top of her game.
2 years later.
And, you know, the thing about this comparison is 2002 was a big year for aliens. And these creators are so associated with these aliens. We're comparing the I'm afraid of water aliens from Signs. The dialogue was cut. And Gantu from I almost said Legally Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
Hi, Robbie.
Hi, Robbie. Legally Stitched. The
Legally
combined
Stitched, yeah.
movie of Legally Blonde and Lilo and
Let's
Stitch.
go to college. So I think my big thing here is that Gantu is so hot, and the anti-water aliens are so not. But what's really funny is when I think about Signs and Lilo and Stitch, they're movies that are defined by their creators. Chris Sanders is so associated with the animation revitalization and Disney in 2003, thanks to Lilo and Stitch. And M. Night Shyamalan has become the world's most famous directorial punchline. Oh, so Gantu.
And you notice I specifically went with the really grainy photo of the alien because that was the first really good jump scare in that movie.
Yeah.
There are available images from later in the film where you fully see the CGI alien, and it's not great.
No, this is the only moment where it's scary. This was the
Yeah.
scary moment of the movie.
This was a really good scary moment.
Yeah.
What do you got?
But I share my vote with Jonah, so I don't get all the say with Gantu. How do you feel about my Gantu choice?
It's one of those things because I look at the original Lilo and Stitch, and upon rewatching it again, I realize like, oh, there's a lot more world building than you think you recognize as a child. There's this entire galactic federation, very a la Star Trek, of this group of aliens who are charged with protecting space, essentially. And yes, Gantu is a space cop. I don't know if I really look at Gantu as the villain of the story rather than he's specifically told he has to do a job. This is what, his training is meant to do. It's one of those things of, is he really a villain or is he just, doing what he's supposed to do? Yes, in later iterations, he does actually become a villain. But in the first movie, he was given a command. He was given a command by the Galactic Empress. I believe that's her name,
He becomes villainous, though?
Yes, he works for a character literally named...
Oh, even more voting for Gantu, then.
Hamster Veal. And is actually tasked with capturing the other experiments that Jumba has made. This is all in the TV show and the movies. But regardless, I still pick Gantu. Gantu's the better alien, probably, of them. And, I don't know, he doesn't lose to water.
the shark doesn't lose to water. Yeah, here.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that's good.
I'm Team Gantu as well, so I think we're locked in and unanimous on this one.
Yeah, we saw that he stands well against an alien that can't handle water in Lilo and Stitch. And yeah, no, he does sound kind of like a villain, so screw it.
Man, I like that wound up being as conversational as it did, because I was like, oh, he was going to laugh at me about Gantu. But, you know, this one actually is tough for me. In the year of our Lord Michael Eisner back then, 1991, we got Beauty and the Beast and Silence of the Lambs. And this really isn't a competition for villains. For those of you who are film buffs, this is one of the most famous Best Picture showdowns in history. Beauty and the Beast is the first film animated to ever be nominated for Best Film. And Silence of the Lambs is, of course, an unbelievable love story between two unexpected forces who never thought that they would wind up together, but their love is pure and unstoppable.
Until you watch Hannibal and understand what the real romance in that series is.
Yeah, seriously. Man. But I think this is tough because Hannibal Lecter defines fear, but Gaston is what every gay man is afraid of being. So I think for me, Gaston is more personally scary.
This was another one where I almost came to you because Hannibal Lecter is not the villain of Silence of the Lambs.
Buffalo Bill, but Buffalo Bill doesn't really get the same treatment as Gaston.
Nobody is.
But Hannibal's the villain of that world.
It's a
he's
Freddy.
not, though.
That's a great way of putting it. Nobody is.
Oh, you animal Hannibal?
Hannibal is the central figure and antagonist of that franchise. So in that regard, yeah, I really do get... Plus, he's like the figurehead. He's the antagonistic figurehead of Silence of the Lambs, of Hannibal, of Red Dragon, of all those things.
So he's absolutely not the antagonist of Red Dragon or Silence of the Lambs.
That's
Buffalo Bill, and then
he's an antagonist.
He's he's it's Ray Fiennes with the back tattoo, and it's the guy with the mangina, and that's those two. And then in Hannibal Rising or Hannibal, it's obviously him because it's got his name in it. But like the whole point is that like he's not really the villain. The world is terrible and like everybody is villainous, and he is just a worse sort of person who recognizes it.
Listen to the guy who identified with the menu over here.
God damn it, Nico. I'm gonna vote Gaston.
Hannibal Lecter, man.
Same.
So, on one hand, I look at Hannibal Lecter, and I think it's one thing when you have somebody or something that personifies horror, but there's also another thing when that character tends to be a genius. I think geniuses and people who are very brilliant can be very terrifying. And then I look at Gaston, and Gaston personifies a different kind of horror of if you exude this kind of confidence that you can kind of lead people in a very specific direction. There's a lot of power in there, and that itself could be scary of how much power Gaston was able to just turn the entire town on Beast for the denouement of the
especially because he's an idiot. Like he's the opposite of Hannibal.
He would demand a recount.
But if we're talking about who shivers me to my core, maybe just a little bit more for me is Hannibal. I think the circumstances, like if the Beast is not a factor in the story, I don't think I'm afraid of Gaston.
Do you love
the minute Gaston maims himself in a hunting accident and is no longer handsome, the town will move on. But Hannibal Lecter is never a very handsome man. No offense, Tori.
Well,
I know she'll be mad at me for saying that, but he is never really an especially handsome man.
And, it's not that Anthony Hopkins isn't, nobody is saying that, Anthony Hopkins is like Steve Buscemi post Blender. But the reality is that, like, he's meant to be sensually attractive, not conventionally attractive. You're meant to be lured in, drawn, inescapably torn into his world. So, it is definitely two different kinds of attractive.
So Hannibal gets the vote on this one.
Unfortunate for you. I'm feeling great about it. All right. This brings us to the unbelievable year of 2003. And, in 2003, Jonah, kindergarten must have been very challenging for you.
Hey,
but for the
I
rest
was in
of us,
second grade, and it was challenging.
For the rest of us adults, this was the year of Finding Nemo, a record-breaking, world-changing animated film. And, of course, Scream 3, which we thought was going to be the last Scream for a while. So who's more frightening? An ugly child or the third ghost face? Now, I need to be clear with you. I'm torn here because these two things are about as scary as choking on a piece of gum. I guess for the person who choked on a piece of gum, it's terrifying. But to everybody else, it's sort of whatever. I do not love, Noel from Felicity.
I know.
The killer. It just doesn't work for me because I do think Hollywood directors are crazy, but...
This is Scott Foley versus Braceface.
I mean, the thing about it is you had already gotten in Scream 2 a really solid surprise background. What? Oh, God.
Can't grow more
Can't
scary,
grow-
man.
Robbie votes Darla.
Yes, Robbie is correct. We'd already gotten, surprise at somebody from the background of this situation, of the the Sidney Prescott situation. And that was really scary because you thought, I never thought about all the stuff that happened before that this incident might inform. But when it happens again, and it's also one of those I never physically could have guessed because, everybody's got a mom, but not everybody has a first child that they adopt out. So,
Speak for yourself.
And, thinking about it, Scott Foley needs some kind of BS sob story backstory to be that kind of villainous.
Yeah.
And Darla just is.
Yeah, it's that, it's wanton cruelty of a child that just does not know or think about their actions. And, how scary that can be to a small, every animal.
We are fish.
Exactly.
This girl coming towards our tank.
Exactly.
She is 8 years old. She is not old, but she is not young. And that is old enough not to shake a goddamn fish.
Yeah.
And just to, put it a little bit in perspective, Ghostface is imitating another killer.
Right.
This young girl is operating
She's coming to it all on her own.
Yeah, she's operating on instinct as a monster.
Maybe the real villain is, what is it, her uncle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Stop her from shaking a bag.
Yeah.
Maybe he's the real monster for not really teaching children. But it's Darla.
It's Darla.
I don't like Scream 3. I love the Scream franchise.
No.
I didn't like the twist. The voice box thing, too much.
This is the best one. This is the best sync that I got.
Perfect.
Dear watcher, I grabbed these two images completely separately, not at all trying to match them like this, and I cannot believe how well they match.
So this is from 1992, better known as the year that TLC was not too proud to beg. But also in 1992, we got the unreal film pairing. I can only imagine the double feature of Firewalk with Me, the Twin Peaks movie. And I love saying it that way. It makes it sound a little bit like American Tail, Fievel. Firewalk with Me, the Twin Peaks movie, and Aladdin. And their villains of Killer Bob and Jafar, two limitless sorcerers who seem to know how to make all of your nightmares come true and take the form of whatever monster they need to take over the universe. Quite truly, they both serve a dark god, and they are both surrounded by freakish and misformed sidekicks. I really think Killer Bob is truly uniquely terrifying.
Yep.
But he's not the villain of Twin Peaks the way Jafar is such a defining villain of multiple iterations of Disney canon. Jafar finds himself in theme park shows and Kingdom Hearts, whereas Killer Bob isn't even the scariest thing in Twin Peaks.
What's the scariest thing in Twin Peaks, Nico?
Judy.
Well, she's not in Twin.
Yeah, I know. She's very conceptual.
That's what makes her terrifying.
It's a
She's literally the force of
conversation.
evil in all of Twin Peaks.
That first jump scare with Bob at the by the bed frame, being caged by the bed frame, is so good.
So good.
And this is a tough one because this gets into the realm of
this is the Undarla.
Right. But this is kind of the un-Freddy as well, or similar to Freddy, I guess, in that this movie is also maybe a bit of a stand-in for the entire show and the concept of Bob, not just Bob as he appears here. Is when we say Bob, are we talking about when it's actually
Leland?
Right. Because that's really when Leland finds Laura and grabs her and the other girl and is running them to the train. That's horrifying. That is so scary. And that is technically Bob, but that's obviously not this actor. There are actually a few moments where it is the actor because it flashes back and forth. That's the crazy thing about Twin Peaks. So this is a tough one for me. I am going to vote for Bob because Bob is super scary. I just love the mythos of the character and the fact that
F-bag.
I love that this was just like a dude that worked on set that got caught in this shot. He was just trying to tape something up on set and the camera caught him, hunched behind this bed frame looking like a fucking weirdo, and Lynch kept the shot. And then they just had Sarah Palmer reacting to it with just utter terror. And from there, this villain is born that, creates absolutely some of the scariest moments in Twin Peaks. That one, and also the one where he chases Maddie around the living room.
Cannot scare. One of the, Kevo was genuinely afraid of that as an adult.
Yeah, it's really fucking scary. So anyway, this is why Bob is getting my vote. But Jafar is an epic villain in every single way. And if this were a matchup in different ways, he would absolutely be getting my vote.
If Killer Bob ever had Jafar's actual raw power,
yeah,
it would have been far scarier.
Mm-hmm.
Jafar is pretty short-sighted, pretty low ambition. Even when he gets power, it's never enough until it ultimately screws him over again and again. So yeah, definitely Bob.
So it doesn't even matter if you went with Jafar with me or not. We are outvoted.
I think so.
All right. Go to Jafar.
Jonah needs to get to know Killer Bob a little better as well.
Yeah. But he sounds a little... Jafar, you take away any of the power of the genie. You take away any of the genie aspect of Jafar, and you stick to Jafar through most of the first act of the original Aladdin. Jafar is not really scary.
No.
He's a villain, and he's antagonistic.
He's really sassy.
He is very...
Marry the shrew.
But even with his scheming, without the crap he steals, he's basically nothing. So yeah.
This one's tough. Scream 4 came out in 2006 alongside Cars. And
What?
Do I have the wrong year? 2006.
No, I don't think.
Cars in the...
No,
Scream
Scream 4 came out
4?
after.
I managed to misdo this one then.
Well, we're still voting for between them. Hold on.
Oh, we're going right in.
Oh, 2011.
Oh yeah, Scream 4 is 2011.
I do not know how. Maybe a Cars movie came out in 2011. It's fine.
However, that's probably what it is.
Yeah. So let's find out. Cars 2011.
Yeah, Cars 2.
That's really difficult.
This is supposed to be Cars 2.
Okay, I feel
Cars
a lot better.
2. Yeah, no, you're fine.
So let's talk about why Doc is the villain of Cars.
He is not.
Doc literally goes up to Lightning McQueen. Lightning McQueen is like, I want to start over. And Doc is like, no, I had a hard time when I was in my 20s, so I'm gonna shit on all your dreams.
That is not what he does.
Doc is the representation of generational trauma, and
No, we have other characters that are better fit for that
Agreed.
metaphor.
not in Cars. So
There's literally a villain in Cars. It's not this guy, but
if you're asking me which one of these is more frightening, Emma Roberts stabbing people, or
it's not Emma Roberts, is it?
Yes, it is.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Scream 4 is
Scream 4
Emma
is Emma
Roberts.
Okay. However,
Yep. I love that this is on screen. Do it. Do it.
Do it.
I'll bring it
Do
up
it.
too if you want.
No, I it's not that I don't believe you. It's that she looks terrible.
Oh yeah.
um,
And her mom is played by the Vice Chancellor of Shoes from Galactica, or her aunt or something. Her mom. Her mom is Laura Roslin from Battlestar Galactica and everything.
Yeah, that I remember. Wow, Emma Roberts really does look terrible. I thought you guys were wrong because her name is Jill Roberts, and I was like,
Nope, doesn't matter.
It's Joey Lawrence playing Joey Russo on Blossom.
right.
I can't with that.
okay.
So yeah, this anyway. Go ahead, Jonah.
So I haven't seen Cars 2, but I do know it's bad.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna step away from Cars for a second. However, the character of Jill Roberts, there is something horrifying for somebody who wants fame that badly they are willing to kill.
Yeah.
That is pretty terrifying.
Okay, he gets my vote then. Since we share a vote, this one goes to him.
It's also I will say what.
Go ahead.
It's also the fact that the movie built up that she was young Sydney, and it was a good twist that she wasn't. She's ultimately, kind of young Billy in her own way.
And then in 5 and 6, we get actual young Billy.
Exactly.
When did you see Cars 2? Nico.
Who are you asking? Oh God.
Oh, it's been on in my entire lifetime. I have physically seen it on in the background, whether we have been at a Disney resort where it is constantly on a loop in the kitchen. It has crossed my eyes.
Didn't you work at Disney when Cars 2 was out?
No, still.
But so anyway, I'm going to give this one to Jonah.
Lead when I'm not looking at you?
I'm going to vote Ghostface with JoJo on this.
Yeah, I got Ghostface too. Kevo, do you have a specific thought on this?
Yeah. No, I'm also with Ghostface, especially because we thought that she killed Hayden Panettiere, and that had us upset for almost 10 years.
Also, Doc isn't the villain.
You are super defensive about Cars 2.
The Cars lore. TK
Cars
really
lore, yeah, it's important.
Cars lore.
All right.
Yes, super important to you.
This is another good sync.
The
hand. They're both doing one of these.
It's another great year because, we're talking about 1993, a year we recently spent a whole lot of time on.
Yep. And the winner of the 1993 media bracket extravaganza is, in fact, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
And both of these sets of characters are very prominent in the current Disney Parks Halloween show that features the Sanderson sisters. So, yeah.
So we've got Hocus Pocus and Nightmare Before Christmas. It's tough because the Sanderson sisters are scary, but they're sort of scary like the Jets versus the Sharks is scary. Whereas Oogie Boogie is fucking made of bugs. That is Jane Prentice's dream man. And I cannot imagine anything more gross-tacular than Oogie Boogie, who's also adorable. And I kind of love him. And I think he's squishy and cute. So, it's tough because I also feel that way about Sarah Jessica Parker. Also a monster made of bugs who is squishy and cute. So I'm going to have to... Jojo, take my vote.
So I look at the Sanderson sisters and I'm like, witches are scary and they want to eat children. And if I was a child, I'd be terrified.
Come little children,
come little chickadees.
Away.
But as an adult, I'm like, are they actually scary? But then you look at Oogie, and Oogie is literally a personification of a nightmare, whereas most of the characters and people who reside within, was it Halloween Town? No, not Halloween. What is it? What is the name of?
No, it's Halloween Town.
Yeah.
It is Halloween Town. Okay.
Yeah, Christmas Town is where they go.
Yeah.
I just think it's also slightly funny because there's also the DCOM Halloween Town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is a little slightly confusing, but Oogie being a literal nightmare and an actual horror, I think personally wins it out for me.
Some
Dang.
old Wiccans versus a sock full of bugs. I'm more afraid of the sock full of bugs.
Because, and I really want to build on that, because I was thinking the exact same thing. Robbie votes Boogie. I was thinking about it as well. And the thing is, back in 1993, a lot of the things about Hocus Pocus seemed scarier, especially because it was one of the first of its rating that was targeted at kids that was so, like, they mentioned the devil and eating
Being killed for being
children.
a virgin.
And virgins.
And virgins, like, it was, like, intense, but, like, by today's standards would be super tame. Whereas the things that make Oogie Boogie scary are still scary. So, yeah.
like jazz
definitely Boogie.
numbers.
Yeah. I mean, you saw
Killing
what happened.
Santa Claus.
You saw what happened to Treme, so.
Anti-Claus.
You see, Norlands is the main character of Treme. Hold on, let me go back.
Let me back up.
Well, there's really 5 characters in Sex of the City. The city itself.
Including the city of New York.
My
TK.
vote is also for Oogie Boogie. I mean, how could it not be?
Yeah.
He's so cool. I also thought it would have been really fun to do the 3 henchmen versus the Sanderson sisters.
Ooh, Lock, Shock, and Barrel. What a great call.
Yeah.
But I feel like the sisters would have won that one.
It's possible, yeah. But anyway, it's absolutely Oogie Boogie. He's the shit. He's very scary. And we are on to...
So, all right. Now, I'm really excited to talk about 2009, right? 2009, Princess and the Frog versus the paranormal entity from Paranormal Activity. Okay. I'm
Both
not...
spirits.
That's why I did it. They're both...
Come through.
they both have friends on the other side.
Yes.
I did not find Paranormal Activity scary. I watched it alone in an empty house that makes a lot of noises on a cold winter night. Did not find it that scary.
Not moved.
Not affected in the least.
Neither paranormal nor active. Discuss.
Absolutely. Spent a
Not a
lot of
fan.
time playing games on my phone. But Dr. Facilier, he is frightening down to the fact that they understand that what makes him so sinister is, to an extent, his inhuman proportions. And in order to play him in the Disney parks, you have to wear extended prosthetic fingers because you have to be so deformed to be Dr. Facilier. He has to get my vote. Jonah, what do you think?
Okay, so are we does he have his connection with his friends on the other side, or is
Yes.
this
Yeah.
does that have to be in consideration because there are other characters that we've talked about
say
that
yeah.
if you strip away certain parts of it, is he actually scary? However, to TK's point of Paranormal Activity, not a lot of paranormal and not a lot of activity. There is a lot of time in that movie of just 20 minutes of nothing happening and then a vase slightly shifting over a little bit. And we go,
Yeah.
Whereas when the spirits show up in this, they show up.
Yeah, I'm looking for like fucking, magic, not slapped ham.
I do agree with Robbie. I do think Dr. Facilier should I think of the next Kingdom Hearts. Well, maybe not Kingdom Hearts 4 because it looks like Sora's coming to the real world. But whenever they can return to the Disney world, I do think we should have a Princess and the Frog one. But I would also vote.
So you're waiting for them to go back to the other side because you think you got friends?
Sure.
All right, so it's Dr. Facilier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on board with that. All right.
The judge. I just think we need to
Yep.
stop. Give it to the judge. We can go to another topic. I'm kidding, but yeah, the
I
judge
do kind of
definitely-
think he's going to win this side. That's my vote as well.
Who do you think is more scary, the judge or Gantu?
No, the judge.
Oh yeah, the judge.
I'd be too busy trying to thirst after them too.
Yeah, can a shark and a man kiss? Let's find out. Please,
what if we kissed on his ship?
please don't look at
Like-
me, Christopher
like
Lloyd,
as a
with
joke.
horrifying animated eyes.
Like as a joke.
Like
Can I-
just as a goof.
Also add the judge is also even more terrifying because it's not the tone of the movie anyway in the slightest.
Yep.
It is
Exactly.
that final twist of it being so unexpected and taking a turn to something so horrifying that I think also adds that element of what is mostly this goofy, who's in the movie, lighthearted movie about Toons just wanting their rights.
Toons being silly, some Toons being horny.
Speaking of Toons, I can't give this one to Darla.
I love that this is both a mouth issue.
This is
Yes. Oh my god.
How's your headgear, Hannibal?
You know,
I would love to see Rue in either of these looks.
Yes.
Like, we need to encourage her to do a new version of the face Keeney. No, I do think it has to go to Hannibal Lecter. Darla isn't epic frightening the way Hannibal Lecter is.
Yeah. But she is the villain of the movie, so, you know.
Unlike Doc, I get it.
It's
I guess the real villain of the movie of Finding Nemo is generational trauma.
It is.
Now we have to watch the Cars franchise as a family. I hope that you know that that's what you've done, TK.
No, you really don't.
Okay,
because
I've heard the third one is good, though.
But let's also throw in
but now we need to, so you can feel validated. Which one is this? Scream 4?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's Scream 4 versus Killer Bob. It goes to Killer Bob all the way.
Of course it goes to Killer Bob.
I am more afraid of Killer Bob than Julia Roberts' niece, okay?
Fully agreed.
Why does Killer Bob remind me of Julia Roberts, though?
It's the hair.
Okay, yeah, no,
I'm
it
serious.
really is.
Yeah, it really is. He had like a lady perm.
I'm picturing him doing the...
He did not have a lady perm, you goober.
Yeah.
For
All
me, this is... What?
No, you go. Totally.
For me, this is Oogie Boogie.
Same.
I just... 1993 was the year.
This is Oogie. Oogie is the friend on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's filled with
well,
friends.
Then I can have an uncontested vote or unconcerned vote for Facilier. So good.
Love it.
All right.
Protest vote.
Those were very carefully muted sneezes. I commend you.
I try hard.
Okay, you know what? Okay. Hannibal Lecter. And I can say why. The Judge is a nightmare. Cannibals are real. Brilliant men with frightening predilections, with extensive influence, are an actual fear of mine. Cartoons that can bug their eyes out like the lady in those Pine Sol commercials, not that high up on my list of scaries.
That's the power of Pine Sol, baby.
That's the power of Pine Sol.
I prefer the Glad Bag Lady.
So, to my point of the fact that Hannibal is not the villain, Hannibal doesn't do anything in the movie that's ever scared me. Like, they came out the same year, right? And I saw both of them that same year. Hannibal, I must have seen the year after when it was on HBO.
First 9-year-old obsessed with seeing Jonathan Demme films, but I get it.
Nailed it. And, Silence of the Lambs never scared me. It really, it disturbed me a little bit, but specifically Hannibal Lecter did not scare me at all. Like,
wait, were you more afraid of the Silence of the Lambs tuned in sequence than Silence of the Lambs?
Were you more afraid of the lambs?
Yeah.
We had lamb. We did.
Let the lambs speak. Why are they being silenced?
I don't like that you're against lamb votes and lamb rights, but you're all for tune rights. I'm not sure what.
Wait. I really need to check something with you just to be sure.
What?
You remember that Hannibal Lecter killed and ate people, right?
I do
because
remember that.
You keep being like, Hannibal did nothing wrong.
I did not say he did nothing wrong.
Okay, he's not a villain.
He could at least run on the Republican ticket. Also,
exactly.
For Robbie, the judge is the bad guy from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
So
I'll bring up another
Hannibal,
picture.
it's not that he is not a villain, it is that he is not the villain of Silence of the Lambs. He does not do anything scary. He
goes, and that is really scary.
Fava beans.
And this fava beans all wrong.
I see, the thing that really disturbed me was I thought he said Chianti wrong.
That's the one when he says wrong. He says Chianti wrong. Thank you.
Yeah. Because it should be Chianti. But Yeah, no, just never scared me. When he eats the guy's brains live in the sequel, that disturbed me a bit more. But this one just
Ray Liotta.
yes, exactly.
Oh my god, that literally messed me up.
He's
as
a
kid.
toon?
So yeah, I mean, Christopher, he just scared me more. Like I just like the screaming, the melting, it was all not good. So anyway, that's my vote. If I'm about to get outvoted, I'm going to be very sad, but let's get to it.
Put those away, Paris. You even did it the same way. I don't want to be the tiebreaker on this one now.
You are the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Hannibal specifically because I feel like Hannibal would be able to manipulate and use the judge before the judge would be able to manipulate and use Hannibal. Whether or not we agree that he should be on this board, he's on it. And so, in all the parameters that matter, and between these two, yeah, I'm going with Hannibal.
God, I should have argued with Nico and made it Buffalo Bill. Ugh. Wasted this all on the fucking car. God damn it. What a waste.
No, don't you click him.
Oh, shit.
I wish it was him versus the car.
Thank you for noticing, Jonah.
That you were just going to get your way. Like, no, I won't listen to the vote. Click.
And you know you can't undo either. We would just pretend it's...
Yeah, that's pretend.
Incredible.
Okay.
Pretend.
Boogie Boogie for me. I think I'm a little bit more afraid of... no, okay, this is tough. They're both really different personifications of true fear.
I'm going to tell you... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
My loyalty is with Twin Peaks at all times. That's just where my heart is, no matter what. Rest in peace, Julie Cruz. Rest in peace, guy who played Bob. They're all... Nobody got long on that set. It's... My loyalty is always with Twin Peaks. If I had extra loyalty to spare, it really would go to Nightmare Before Christmas. I love that movie so much. I love every single song in it. I still remember seeing it in the theaters like it was yesterday, but I love everything about Twin Peaks. What?
I want to go see it when it gets re-released this month.
Fuck yes.
All right.
There was a period...
Oh, I'm sorry.
There was a period my first semester of college where, like, for a month I just watched Nightmare Before Christmas on repeat.
It's so good.
I have spoken about how I literally modeled my voice during puberty after Danny Elfman's a couple zillion times. Honestly, as much as I wish I could, I can't make this vote. I can't do it on my own. Jonah, you got to make the deciding call here.
Yeah.
So we have one vote for Oogie and one vote for Killer Bob.
Yeah.
So part of the problem is I'm not too versed into the Twin Peaks verse yet. We've started and I've dipped my toes into the original series, like the first couple of episodes. Show feet. But from what you're describing to me, I also want to keep calling him Sideshow Bob.
That's kind of fair.
Bob had a brother named Killer Cecil.
Feet, no. So truly, I think for me, I still have to give it to Oogie because I look at the characterization of Oogie, of what Oogie could be capable of as an entity. And if this wasn't a Disney property and looking at just a regular horror franchise of like, oh, Oogie would be grotesque and evil and cruel.
You stopped so abruptly. Are you okay?
I was just done.
That was it? Okay, so that's
Oh,
one
that
one.
was like mid-sentence.
Yeah.
I had nothing left.
Kevo, are you breaking this tie or
It was empty.
what do you got?
I think that I am with you, Teak. I think I am with Killer Bob. For a long
right now?
similar.
Is Killer Bob in the room? With you?
No, we were just with Teak earlier this week. No, I am with Killer Bob for similar reasons to why I picked Hannibal over the Judge.
Yeah.
I think between these two powerful forces, I think the eviler is definitely Killer Bob.
You know, and I do want to say real quick that something I've come to through the course of this is if we wanted to ever make Hannibal really frightening, I suggest Hannah Bublé Lecter. It's Michael Bublé.
Nope, I hate it.
No, you didn't.
I said to myself, I'm going to drink anyway, and I'm not going to laugh.
Okay, to build onto that one, he's not in the list, and I do miss him dearly. Hannah Babadook.
Hannah Babadook.
Hannah
Yes.
Babadook.
Hannibal
Hannibal
Barbera.
Montanibal.
Guys, I think we've unlocked the monster universe universal.
Hannibal Montanibal.
Yeah.
It's all just Hannibal. It's Hannibal all the way down.
I also would like Bublé
shit.
Duke, who is
Bublé Duke,
Michael-
yes.
who is Michael Bublé in a big hat.
But we do have the Babadook's boyfriend on here.
We do have the Babadook's boyfriend.
So my final vote is for Bob, of course.
And Bob did take this side for Indeed, because it was Kevo and both. Oh wait, no, is this a new matchup already?
Yeah.
Oh my
It was Bob versus Boogie.
Bob versus Hannibal. I think I'm going Bob. Yeah, Bob.
I concur.
Bob all around. Bob wins the first half.
Bob
Bob is
favorite.
evil.
Bob the drag queen is the scariest monster in the entire universe.
You heard it here first, folks. Bob the drag queen of Duke.
I swear to God, Monet Exchange is the one who made up that rumor.
Are we going right into this, or are we taking a break?
Oh, let's roll. We're having a great time.
Okay.
All right. Can I
Two
just be honest with you?
fags stand
Hold
before
on.
me.
That is actually, I came up with two timeless faggots as the qualifier for this category.
Robbie is saying justice for Oogie Boogie. I'm sorry, Robbie. If you watch Twin Peaks, you will understand, but only if you are prepared to be terrified.
Yep.
I just want to say that everybody who's a fan of our show that's been tuning in, we love you guys. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and commenting. So for those of you who have been tuning in the last year or so you haven't gotten to know Robbie so well, Robbie is famous for the quiet hot take. So everybody will say their opinion, and Robbie's going to go, I just thought she was like super cool and that everybody else was dumb. And everybody goes, that is it. That is the opinion. That is the one. Yes. So, justice for Oogie Boogie. I think, yeah, absolutely. If only there could be two winners for the left side. But now
Then it would be Judge and Bob.
Thank you for that soundbite, by the way.
No.
Duh.
It'd be Hannibal and Bob.
Now, all right. I need to be clear that very few things scare me quite as much as Annie Lennox versus the cat from Pinocchio. But here we are. No, of course, I am talking about the formative year 1994, and we are looking at Interview with a Vampire versus The Lion King. And these two movies are really two movies that actually defined a generation of fanfic writers, of creators, of novelists, of filmmakers.
Of queerness, yeah.
Of queerness. This is two movies that I honestly don't know anyone who is a creative who is not deeply affected by one of these. I am no great fan of The Lion King, but I'm certainly shaped by Elton John's score and soundtrack alongside the brilliance of Hans
Wait,
Zimmer.
hold on. You're not a fan of The Lion King?
I do not like The Lion King.
You
as a
don't
film.
like Hamlet?
With cats?
It's Hamlet plus Macbeth, actually.
I'm
a really big fan of 1.5 because it's Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Literally.
I
I'm not
was a
making that up.
huge fan of it at the time, but yeah, same. I really fell out of love with Lion King in a really weird way. I think because as I became an adult, was like, but why isn't it people?
It's lions, you fool.
But I've been lucky enough to see The Lion King I'm lucky enough, truly, to see The Lion King on Broadway. That was my first Julie Taymor. That was the day I decided I was going to make musicals for a living. It is one of the most beautiful things I ever saw in my entire life on stage. What? Oh,
You know my story.
What?
For the audience and anybody who does
What
not
did he
know
do?
the story, I have also seen The Lion King on Broadway because it is the play that my parents took me to soften the announcement at the end of the play that they were getting divorced.
Hey, some of us didn't even get a play.
And some
You
of
think
our
about
parents
that,
weren't
mister.
even married to begin with.
America.
So I too have seen The Lion King on Broadway, and I still love The Lion King.
It is your Chandler's Thanksgiving.
I've been backstage to The Lion King on Broadway.
I love
Ooh,
that.
Fancy.
It's a very nice backstage.
My thing is in trying to, because I like both of these things.
Oh, and they both got adapted into musicals.
Yes. I like both of these things. Tom Cruise sucks and is the worst person, like maybe on the planet Earth, but he's high up there. He's really good in this role, but he sucks a lot. This is a tough one because Lestat is a cool, weird, stupid character. Tom Cruise is a shitty, stupid person. Jafar is Scar is a gay icon. I'm gonna go Scar.
I'm gonna go with Scar. What about you? Are you a Lestat or a Scar guy? Which,
Scar.
you know, and it's
I was gonna say, there's no way Jonah's a Lestat guy. I'm
Well, 'cause
sorry,
it
this
kinda
is
comes
not
down to-
happening.
Are you into like Twinkie bear chests, or are you into like big bears? Like that's really kind of the choice here.
You tell me. Also, I don't know if the costuming was similar, but Lestat kind of looks like I don't know how many girlies are gonna get this. Lestat looks like Beef from Phantom in Paradise. So I can't really vote for that.
Oh my gosh, you know, I think he looks like Annie Lennox in the Walking on Broken Glass video, but I
see that too.
definitely
I do see it.
Yeah. You know, I think you're right. Our vote needs to go to Scar. You know, I really do remember being a little kid, and the music to Lion King was always a big deal for me. And I memorized, we'll be prepared for what? For the death of the king. Why? Is he sick? No, fool. We're gonna kill him. And Simba too. Great idea. Who needs a king? No king. No king. Tra la la la. You idiots. There will be a king. But you said I will be king. Like I
Are
mean,
you
like
still doing this?
Scar.
I know, this went on.
It went up for like 13 seconds. Scar is like defining. So
Yes.
and he made a great throw rug in Hercules.
Kevo, do you have a vote?
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and protest vote since it doesn't matter and say Lestat.
But let's not
because-
hyenas, as Robbie said.
Yeah, Robbie.
Was Whoopi
Yeah,
Goldberg?
Robbie points out that Lestat didn't have hyenas, and also points out that Lestat and Lewis are fine AF in the new show. Tom also agrees that Tom Cruise is garbage. I'm just saying, vampires beat lazy foppish lions. But since my vote doesn't matter, I can say whatever I want.
Yeah,
So,
you can.
there you go. I lose. Oh no. I'm gonna roll over and take it like Scar does.
I've read that fan fiction.
Yeah. Probably with Lestat.
So
These two don't quite sync up, but I just like how they have the same face.
for people who don't know, this is actually two of my all-time favorite films, and I'm willing for everyone to hate me.
It's true.
Prometheus will never leave my top 10 films because you cannot understand what it was like. I literally had like a day timer countdown till Prometheus came out. It meant everything to me, guys.
Then when it came out, were you not just like, my heart is broken?
I was a little disappointed by some of the silliness, but it was 2012 and I was already putting up with an incredible amount of stupidity. So it just didn't feel like the dumbest thing was that Charlize Theron had never thought to look to the left.
This was
That
a
wasn't my
post the
problem with
last.
it.
This was a post the last Airbender world, so we had already
Yeah.
been so horribly crushed by something.
Okay.
Worse than Charlize Theron by not
We
looking
thought the
left.
world was going to end. We had bigger problems.
And
Yeah, because this came out before December, so
I know I said that Gantu is hot, but no, Wreck-It Ralph is like the hottest cartoon ever drawn. and he is the most perfect, and he's the most perfect protagonist that doesn't want to be an antagonist. And I love Wreck-It
Like
Ralph.
Hannibal.
Yeah, like Hannibal. Wreck-It Ralph is the Hannibal of fixing things. And that makes Fix-It Felix his Clarice. No, Turbo is one of the scariest villains ever, and it is absolutely my favorite performance by Alan. His last name is escaping me.
Alan Carr.
Tudyk.
Tudyk, thank you. It is my favorite performance by Alan Tudyk by a country mile. Dude really gave himself to the madness of this role. And the minute they said we have a Turbo situation on our hands, like that magic, that there was a word you could say that caused these supernatural beings who only responded to code as their definition to have a reaction. The specificity of language in that movie, the quality of animation, I really think Wreck-It Ralph stands the test of time in a way that Prometheus won't. Are the engineers hot? Do the engineers appear as strippers on shows like Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Did we one time see one of the engineers walking around New York Comic Con? Is he really that big? Yes. But Turbo is a literal perfect villain that subverts genre for me. Do you have any strong feeling on this one? Or because I know this is a loaded year for you, like literally. This was like a formative high school year for you.
Yes, I was a sophomore in high school in 2012. And we legit thought the world was going to end. I remember going to sleep thinking, I still have to do the science report because in case the world doesn't end, I still have to get a good grade on this.
Baby.
So I have not seen Prometheus. The literal only thing I know about Prometheus is the running joke of
The running joke.
the school of running away, school of running away from things from Prometheus, where why didn't you just go to the side? Ha. Anyway, but these two showed me Wreck-It Ralph and Turbo. You don't expect Turbo to get so horrifying, and then he becomes this bug thing, and it gets weird and grotesque, and I don't like it, and no.
Baby.
Yes, I am baby. Just like I am legend, and it's Turbo for me.
My vote is for the engineer. It's a really great moment. What are you looking at? What?
I'm looking at the breathtakingness that is Robbie just absolutely giving into the madness.
Yes,
Starting the first
Robbie.
week's episode. No, watch our show. What are you doing?
Robbie could do both. Have
The
one
theme
on
song
one
is
screen.
42
All
minutes
right.
long. You've got
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, it is.
I
It's
wish
just
you lots
the
of
first
luck.
episode.
It's going to be upsetting, and I hope you enjoy that.
When you get
We
to the
hold
magical
no
transdimensional
responsibility.
midgets, don't come for us.
Their words.
I am voting for the engineer.
Engineers.
Because one, I just like, for as stupid as I think Prometheus is in every single way, I do think that the gag of them not being stoked at all about the humans and not being like kindly, like, you know, this image right here, that he just rips the head off David when David attempts to speak to him, rather than being like a benevolent creator figure, was just a really good moment. You're right.
Very
that
high evolutionary.
Exactly. You're right that the Deacon is not really the villain of this movie, because the Deacon only comes at the very end. It's also not really the Trilobite, because while that is a sort of secondary awesome villain that creates a lot of body horror and terrible stuff, it really is the engineers who become not just the villains of the movie in a very high level way, where like humanity's hopes are dashed by them.
They speak for death is like the real thing. They speak for life and death, and it's
Right.
their whim, which
Right.
is like what makes them a concept more than even a villain for me. But I really, really love your perspective.
Yep. So that's my vote. They are also just like gross and creepy and weird, and I like them. Turbo is super awesome, and I love Wreck-It Ralph, but I just like the engineers for villains better.
So, Kevo, are you about the building or the bugging?
I think I'm gonna go with Turbo.
Respect.
I
That's
think
that's
that
my winning body roll.
the
Body roll
engineers
hard.
are a little bit more a race of hubris.
Yeah.
And Turbo is more a dangerous entity unto himself.
I love that perspective. Okay, now this one's a little bit tougher because I went real deep.
Not for me.
Ghostface 1 from Scream 1 versus Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Again, just a couple villainous fags, or trio of villainous fags.
Yeah, the faggotry here is Karl Lagerfeldian. I loved the score to Hunchback so much. In 1996, I read Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo. Like, I had to read it 15 times, and everyone's like, you're really obsessed with this book. No, I was 10, and I had to read it 10 times to understand it. No, this guy really is on a sexual religious quest to kill everybody until he gets to rape every gypsy he wants. This really is a terrifying man. He is a monster of his era. Ghostface is also a monster of his era, dying for success as a celebrity through murder. The quality of these two comparisons is merciless. This is tough for me because they both represent the level of fear driven by their era. Jonah, I think I have to default to you on this one because I really am 49-51 in either direction depending on the day.
So I look at, the original two Ghost Faces, and that's more psychotic horror of if I'm encountering somebody with this level of I'm willing to do this for fame, similar to us talking about Emma Roberts in Scream 4, what would we do? It is pretty terrifying what some people will do, the lengths they will go. And then I look at Frollo and I look at that kind of, religious horror of, that fear mongering that I am told I have to do this because otherwise you will face this damnation, and that kind of, evilness that can come from there of I think I'm doing what's right, but holding this power of if you don't follow and do what I say, there's a problem.
And you can never really tell if he fully believes it either. Sometimes you think he does, and sometimes it feels like it's just an act. Which
also, one of the
terrible
best villain songs
Ever.
from Disney.
Oh my god.
For me, I think give it to Frollo. I think Frollo is a little more terrifying.
If Frollo had a song like Deliver Me from Sweeney Todd, something like that just solidified him as a Judge Turpin or a Beetle Bamford, it would be an unbelievable knockout for me, but I'm really proud to let Jonah pick the winner here because he did not pick a loser by any means.
No, they're both horrifying. Billy and what is
Stu
are
Billy and Teddy, whatever.
yeah, Billy and Teddy before they were technically official. No, they're horrifying. Like the original Scream.
The Young Avengers are so gross.
The original Scream.
Robbie says Ghostface is low-key too sexy to me to be scary.
There is this cultural phenomena of really buff, beautiful men who have very sculpted bodies just wearing the Ghostface
mask.
And it does create this very
cognitive
like an
dissonance.
open robe.
Yeah.
It's a cognitive dissonance.
It's like anybody you ever hear or see play Piano Man at karaoke or a piano bar, and then you see Billy Joel and you're like, oh.
But the original Scream is one of the most fascinating films that I look at of being one of the perfect blends of comedy and horror.
Mm-hmm.
Where I don't think many other franchises have yet to get that blend together.
Ricardo Fada, I gotta say, yeah, it sounds like our camp in upper left corner is giving it to Frollo. So we're with you. We got to hear what TK and Kevo are feeling. TK, who are you giving it to? You giving it to the original social media murderers, Or
I am.
Oh.
No or. Don't need
No
an
or.
There was never a
I'm not
question in my mind.
surprised.
we're not playing
not
Japan. There is no
surprised.
I
or.
was always giving it to Billy and Stu. I was a real Skeet Ulrich fan. I was a real Matthew Lillard fan. I had a wild night. Never mind. I'm gonna tell the story another time. But I love the original Ghost Faces, and I do think they are gay together, and that's great. And while I do think Frollo is also gay, I think it is just sadly and by himself.
Repressed.
So very repressed. So I vote for the ones that I believe were canonically
Knew you would.
doing it behind closed doors.
All right, Kevin, what's your level of fear? Is it like is it 1996, I guess. Yeah, specifically.
Were you trying to guess what year Hunchback was set in and just can't get there?
No, I was trying to remember
No.
what year Scream 1 came out, and I couldn't. That's much sadder because I was not going to guess what year Hunchback came out.
It's the same year. The original. Yeah, no.
It's the book.
Scream, the original novel, definitely came out the same year as Victor Hugo's Hunchback of Notre Dame. Look
Yeah,
it up.
they're both
you
in 1963.
I remember reading it by Whale Blubber. That's the lantern lights on boats.
Oh, I thought you were saying that was the name of the person who wrote it.
No,
That's what I thought too. I was like, first off,
got it.
What a pen name. Whale
What
Blubber.
a drag name.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You know,
hey,
in terms
Whale
of
Blubber.
in terms of power, influence, and actual murders, I'm gonna give it to Frollo.
Ugh, you guys are the worst.
I love the boys from Scream, but like actual villainy, like this, I'm probably gonna give it to the doll.
this one was really tough for me.
Not me.
Frollo.
Well, the Conjuring universe is my favorite horror franchise of all time. Alien is my favorite movie franchise. I don't really consider Alien a horror franchise. They're not all horror movies, so that's an unfair category for it. The second movie is not a horror movie. It's an action-adventure film. The third movie is a prison escape film. It's not a horror movie. It's actually more of a rape and revenge movie without the rape and revenge trope. But not all Alien movies are horror. All Conjuring movies are horror, even when it's just The Nun and it's horrible. Annabelle is one of my favorite films ever. Top 25 for me. I am such a sucker for the Conjuring universe. I have made Kevo watch all of those movies multiple times for multiple years now. Annabelle, I just want to be like really clear about this. Annabelle walked so Megan could run.
Oh my
why
god!
is it
100%.
on this list?
So
Lots of reasons because Annabelle would eat her up.
yeah,
I mean, you're not wrong, but-
Annabelle would chew Megan out of. I mean, they'd have some rockin' sex, but then she would just destroy her.
Yeah.
I'm not wrong. I've seen all the films.
And they're both evil immortal dolls. I get
Yeah.
it. I get it. I get it.
I'm
They
1,000%
Paranormal,
Annabelle.
The other is tech.
Yeah, Annabelle 1,000%. Yokai
Yeah.
is scary. Big Hero 6 is great. Baymax is, like my secret plush life, but Annabelle is that girl. She's so
Yeah.
fucking cool.
Yeah.
Annabelle. A Chucky versus Megan movie. Ooh, Chucky would have been also another good inclusion.
Yeah. I
Child's
thought
Play was never the best performing horror film, so it didn't
No,
come up
it
in
was-
any
Yeah.
more.
I was wondering about Bride of Chucky specifically.
Jennifer Tilly.
Jennifer
Yeah.
Tiffany.
Yeah.
But I really am a very big Annabelle fan. It's why
Yeah.
I saw Megan in theaters just for Annabelle.
Yeah. Annabelle's cunt as fuck and gets my vote, and
I
just
saw Megan in theaters by myself, and I was laughing a little too hard at this
Yeah.
movie.
Annabelle
I'm proud of
doll
you.
took the house down.
yeah.
This guy's backstory is just another one of those dumb. My wife is dead, and now I'm angry, and I'm
Yeah,
just gonna get over
honestly,
it.
he's
like,
not-
whatever.
He's not a great villain.
Annabelle is stone cold.
Yeah, this is. I mean, like, God,
Annabelle, you heard it here first, folks. Annabelle is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
the lash, the lip.
That'd
Listen, she's serving, she's giving.
Yeah.
She's a
She is
icon, a
mothering.
legend. She's mothering.
Yeah,
She's
She's
an
mothering.
icon, the legend. She is the moment now. Come
she
on
is the
now.
moment.
She's
Come on now.
smothering.
She
Yes.
is smothering you in your sleep.
So we did know how this vote was going, and I'm just
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Oh God,
We're
I
super
love
happy
Vanderbilt
about it.
so
All
much.
right, here's the thing. I lost one of the most iconic ghost faces already. I will not be losing this one.
I'm sorry, Jojo. I love you with all my heart, but I'm gonna go to the mat on this one. It has to be Scream 2 Ghostface.
Yes,
Tasty
it
Cake
absolutely
said-
does.
Annabelle's
yes.
the reason why you say hello to all the dolls at the antique store so they won't follow you home.
Absolutely.
That's Tasty Cake. That is very good, smart behavior. That is just self-preservation. We love to see it.
But
So 1997.
the reason Scream 2 has to win is she was fucking my husband. Like,
Well,
Laurie Metcalf with the short like mom haircut of 1997.
the way she is this horrified news reporter throughout the film, the ungale.
Just
And then
so dotty and stupid.
and how many of these unhinged villain characters can Laurie Metcalf really play with the pistol? Oh my god.
Truly,
And that-
I think Bang is
And
the
that
best
you
actress
have
television
Timothy
ever.
Oliphant as like the person who you cast when
Yes.
Skeet Ulrich can't make it to the audition.
Yes.
Ultimately ending up because you're like, of course it's not him. Like that's so obvious and stupid. And it is the subversion and then subversion of the trope. It is perfect in every way.
And when
It
you
has
can't get
Commander
him-
Ransom.
Well,
Yep.
and then when you can't get yourself Timothy Oliphant, you just get your. Oh, and I even had the joke lined up. Oh,
So
come
sad.
back to me. It's fine.
Okay.
So
Well, something I love about this too is both of them are family issues.
Oh,
Family revenge. What a theme
Yeah.
for 1997.
Hades is James Woods though, right?
Yeah.
Josh Duhamel.
Yeah.
When
So
you
he
can't
can't-
get yourself him, you get Josh Duhamel.
Josh Duhamel.
Duhamel, thank
No, that's weird. I don't think
they
that's
look.
right.
They look
It's close.
90s interchangeable.
Josh Duhamel and Timothy Oliphant?
In the
Yes,
90s,
watch
they
Win a
had-
Date with Tad Hamilton and then watch Girl Next Door.
Exactly.
Yes, yes, yes.
God.
You
All
are.
right.
I'm with you.
So Hades
One's
also
taller.
can't win because it's James Woods.
Yeah,
Yeah,
James
no.
Woods has to lose because he is a racist, transphobic fuck.
James Woods is going to meet the actual Hades when he dies.
Yeah.
um
And it's going to be Fish from Ally McBeal. From
Exactly,
Once Upon a
from
Time.
Once Upon a Time. Giving the most, like, I've lived my whole life for this role. Playing of that.
But he's got to go up to James Woods and do the waddle.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
a lot of
If
fun.
only he did that to Zelina.
If anybody else has anything to say, feel free, but this is going to Laurie
Well,
Metcalf,
okay.
as it should.
Well, yes, it should. As much as I enjoy the characterization, let me phrase this: as much as I enjoy the character of Hades in the movie Hercules, one, if I'm gonna be, I'm gay and I love Greek mythology. You can't have one without the other, really. Hades,
correct.
it's not really the best portrayal of Hades. Oftentimes, we view Hades or Anubis, these characters that personify death, as evil, and it's. No, Hades chose the underworld because he didn't really want to fight with his brothers, and he's more so just kind of like this antisocial nerd who kind of has to do a job of the underworld.
The best characterization of Hades is Hades from the game Hades, the hottest
Yeah.
daddy in the history of gaming.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would also argue I also like him in Hades Town, but that's a different story.
True.
Um,
Okay. Fair. Yep.
But
That's a more romantic story.
The Disney interpretation is
But the
wild.
Disney-
Let's
but-
leave
Yeah.
it there.
he's also not even horrifying. He's just
No.
kind of. Well, one, he kind of has the poison for the baby.
Yeah.
The baby's poison that's just randomly in this room. It only has the one vial. Doesn't know where it comes from. He's not really scary or horrifying. He's just kind of doing
Yeah.
weird revenge plot. Not scary. He's just.
We picked.
All right. Let me be clear. I love Coco more than I love almost anything in the world. Coco's perfect. If I had to, Coco above Encanto. If we're talking about Latinx films that talk about generational trauma. And maybe it's because Coco is about a young Latinx man who wants to play guitar, and I might know some shit about that. That said, Pennywise is frightening in a way Ernesto could never be. I love Ernesto de los
Well, Ernesto's not that kind of villain.
And Benjamin Bratt played him in a way that was horrifying.
He's
So
far
good.
more intense than a lot of the Disney villains on this list, but like can't fight Pennywise.
Pennywise is literally every fear I've ever had. Pennywise.
And that's it. That's the other thing about Pennywise. Pennywise himself doesn't have a singular form. It's what terrifies you and feeding off your fear.
Yeah.
Pennywise is.
This is just one. Yeah.
Can I give a very quick shout out? There is this one scene in the 2017 movie where they're all in the sewers, and I forget which kid is getting attacked by the one of his fears, and all the other kids rushing to him, and then it's Pennywise is like turning behind a pipe, and then Pennywise for some reason like peeks back around as the clown, as if to say, "Guys, it was me. I've been doing this the entire time. I'm the villain here. It's me. Did you guys not know?" It's one of the weirdest, like, unintentionally funny scenes because it doesn't serve any purpose, but it's for me to laugh at.
This fucking TGIF clown over on right over there.
I really think Bill Skarsgård is overcast, but this was the perfect role for him. And like at the time, I really
Like a
thought
gloomy day.
I think he's
I really
perfectly
thought-
sunny.
I wasn't gonna like it. I thought, he was too young. I just didn't see it working. I am that weird person that thought Hemlock Grove was a hoot and a holler. I very much enjoyed that show, and I thought he was really good in it. And I just like never have looked forward to a lot of his roles since, except for Pennywise. I think he's absolutely perfect. So that's my vote as well.
And Kevo, you kept nodding when I was saying Pennywise all the way, despite what a great movie Coco is. So I'm going to assume that you're voting Pennywise.
Yeah, and like I said, for a Disney Pixar style movie, the whole murder plot really, really did go a lot harder than a lot of modern Disney movies do. So I really respect them going like old school hard on having someone be that violently heinous in a Disney movie. But still, I mean, it's Pennywise. Let's not even play.
Let's call a spade a spade.
Let's call a clown a clown.
Let's ask the audience. Come on now.
Yeah.
Let's call him. Hey, Pennywise.
Hey, Penn.
All right. Let's talk.
This is a great one because Michael Myers is one of the iconic horror villains of all time. He is so scary, except for in Halloween H2O, which is the movie that we are specifically citing here. And then Shen Yu.
Yeah.
Shen Yu, yeah.
Shen Yu from Mulan.
Not really that scary.
He's kind of just like,
I found him scary.
I found him scary, but he's just sort of like all scary,
He's just kind of mad.
villains. Yeah. Why you mad, bro?
Yeah.
I am mad though.
There's no depth, I guess.
Michael Myers in this movie, even if he does not represent an actual terror the way Michael Myers should, represents what happens when your family won't stop showing the fuck up.
Jesus Christ.
And, we all have that uncle that we wish our kid would never meet. So I got to give it to Michael Myers, the worst family member ever. Oh, my God. Robbie, you're giving it to Sean
Robbie
Yu
gets
over
it.
Michael Myers. Who are you giving it to, Jonah?
I'm going to plead the fifth on this because
No.
I've never seen any of the Halloween franchise.
Okay.
So I don't know I know the cultural impact of Michael Myers.
It's very important that you see some of the originals and then understand how exceptionally stupid H2O. For one thing, H2O, which is the stupidest branding exercise.
Halloween 20.
Yeah, it was Halloween 20, but the movie that everybody referred to it as H2O.
Because it was the 20th anniversary of Halloween.
Right.
Halloween watered down.
Halloween
as
watered
Casey
down.
points
Casey Gang,
out.
exactly, and that's exactly what it was. It was completely watered down and stupid.
At least the next one had Busta Rhymes.
I was gonna say, God bless Jamie Lee for sticking with this franchise all the way through, though. Also, God bless her for the supercut of saying trauma. I watch it just every few weeks just to make myself feel better.
Look at that horse.
Up your own trauma.
Yeah, exactly. All that said, I still think this belongs to an iconic era of horror movies. and that's why it gets my vote. But the mask is terrible
Right.
in this movie. He's legitimately not that scary.
Not that scary at all. This is no William Shatner mask painted white, my friends.
Truly no. So that's my
Oh,
vote.
you've seen the Death Note movie?
It was a movie? I thought it was a show. It was a movie?
Movie,
It was that bad
musical.
That it was a movie
it-
that people hated?
She's a
Damn.
triple threat at this point. She's like a quadruple threat at this point.
So
Go
wait,
ahead.
did you guys both vote Meg Myers?
Yeah.
Then I am going to do the protest vote for Sean Yu.
Okay, you
just
lost.
because I did find him kind of scary, and Miguel Ferrer, R.I.P. I didn't know that he voiced Sean Yu until today, so that's pretty cool.
George Clooney's much hotter cousin.
But no, it's fine. I accept.
I am obsessed with this one. This is another one where I was like, should I ask? Wait, no, there isn't a villain in this. Oh, it kind of is the grandmother. She really is the villain of the movie.
It's generational trauma, but it starts with her.
Right.
So.
Is she?
The way
What?
I phrase it is, I don't see her as so much the villain, but she is the antagonistic force, and those two
Sure.
don't often mean the same thing. You
Yeah.
can be an antagonist without being a villain.
Yeah.
She's definitely, the antagonist to Mirabelle's story, but
Yes.
still, I don't think she's villainous as so much as traumatized.
I do think she is villainous. I think as somebody who had 2 shitty grandmas,
Yup.
I know a shitty grandma when I see one.
Yup.
And this grandma puts way too much shit on her children and is
Yup.
horrible when they can't live up to her insane demands. And that, to me, because you're forced to put up with it, is a lot more villainous than some demon that shows up, does magic at you. My vote's for the grandma. Tell me why The Conjuring is better than anything ever.
I mean, The Conjuring is the perfect film franchise
I know.
in so many ways, but
The
no.
Devil Made Me Do It is not one of the great ones, though.
No, I mean, for me, The Conjuring is never about the bad guys; it's about the Warrens.
Mm.
But anybody who's ever had an abuela that was a little rough on you recognizes how abuela is the bad guy. And
Yep.
as somebody whose grandmother never understood him, my Cuban grandmother never once understood me. Yeah, I gotta vote abuela here. Any demon is any demon, but a member of your family you can't escape who is making you feel sad about yourself.
Yup.
That's a certain level of pain you can't ever forget. You might forget the pain of a traumatic situation, but the trauma of your family is something that is much deeper than any memory.
Anybody got anything else?
I'll put another protest vote for Conjuring.
Did you really think she was scary?
Just in general.
Okay.
It came out at a weird time in my life, though. So
I get you. Yeah, okay. Well, so
She's
Abuela
the La
it is.
Llorona.
Exactly.
Uh,
For me, this is
Okay,
still
so what do we have
Scar,
first?
but I think I'm about to
Alright.
get outvoted on this one.
Well, they both did plots to usurp the throne,
There you go.
which is a fascinating comparison.
Yeah.
I think I'm more afraid of Turbo visually, but Scar is a more frightening
Magnetic
concept.
villain. Okay.
Yeah, I think Scar is a better villain here. So if I have to vote, I got to give it to Scar.
I agree.
That's 2 for Scar if anybody doesn't want to get in on this.
It's hard. This one's hard. It's interesting that it's a Disney versus Disney. I love that. Then, because wait, did you vote or no?
I voted. It's going to Scar.
So then, yeah, I'll vote. I'll protest.
You're protest voting. I love these protest votes, Kevo.
Keep it spicy. Yeah, see, even top 6 scars. So we're on it.
Annabelle.
Frollo.
I feel like I'm
a
gonna.
scary priest, but Annabelle. There's an Annabelle in every house, let alone every town.
I am going to vote for Frollo just to fuck with you guys for not voting for Scream 1.
Kevin, what do you think?
Yeah, Annabelle. She would definitely eat Frollo alive.
I mean, I knew it was going to be Annabelle, so
While doing a death drop.
While doing
You're doing.
just from
No,
her
you're
tiny
doing
height,
protest vote.
just Little fallback. Um,
Which one is this?
Scream 2.
Scream 2. This is still going. It's always Laurie Metcalf. I think Laurie Metcalf could take care of Pennywise.
You know what? The reason I'm going to vote for Ghostface 2 over Pennywise
Yeah.
is because this is the second visual iteration of Pennywise. And while this is
Yes.
scary, people still talk about Tim Curry.
Yeah.
But when you think about Pennywise, the Pennywise that comes to mind is Laurie Metcalf for many fans of the franchise.
When you think about Ghostface, the Ghostface that
Thank you
comes
so
to
much.
mind.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the Pennywise image as well.
Yeah.
I got to give it to Laurie Metcalf's Ghostface 2.
What makes Laurie Metcalf's Ghostface 2? My vote really would be for Pennywise, but Pennywise is a demon and an entity whose whole idea is around being this thing that eats your fear and feeds off of that. Laurie Metcalf's a human. This is an actual person that you might walk past every day.
That's true.
We don't walk past Pennywises every day. Maybe we
true.
do. We don't know.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, like Robbie, this one's tough for me. So, since there's already a vote cast on it, gonna do the protest.
How dare
hey,
you keep doing these?
someone has to vote for Pennywise, or he's gonna come after us.
Well, Nico really voted for that. I would vote for Pennywise, but I'm not in charge of this vote.
Yep, Laurie Metcalf, bang.
Oh.
We have to vote for Laurie Metcalf, or she'll come after us too. So.
Yeah.
Abuela, 100%.
I gotta
Mike
go.
Myers just kind of shambles. Abuela really comes after you.
Abuela knows how to fuck. You know what I mean?
Abuela's gonna stick her house on you.
Oh my god, and her husband was so hot. She really does know how to fuck. Remember that?
There you
Remember
go.
dead grandpa?
Well, and she has like a dozen children. So, well, actually, there's only
Which is-
3. But
It's 3.
And it was triplets.
Yeah, and
So-
I also feel like
So
Michael
does
Myers-
grandma fuck? Shit.
Michael Myers kind of comes for you, and like, yeah, he's gonna kill you, but like, Abuela might
Oh,
be
he's
like,
gonna come for me. Well, come for me, Mama.
she's
This
gonna,
is
like,
great.
She can
this
bring
is
your
great.
house down.
This is great generational trauma fight as well.
yeah, truly it is.
Oh my god, because Abuela stalks her granddaughter, but Michael Myers stalks Laurie.
His
Okay.
sister.
Laurie Metcalf.
And you know what? In the hierarchy, then grandma really does supersede
Okay, you know what?
Michael.
All right, I'm gonna give it to Abuela.
Not even gonna protest.
Ah, yes.
The transitive
Oh
property.
my god,
of-
if we get to Abuela versus Bob, I'm gonna die.
I feel like Scar would eat Annabelle, but then she would just possess him. Like, I don't think there is beating Annabelle physically, and Scar doesn't have anything.
But what about
physical shit.
emotionally?
Well, I mean, if he tore
He
her
would
down,
read her down. He'd be like, that lash isn't as long as you think it is, bitch.
This little
This little toy.
You thin-lipped hooker.
your little house on the prairie looking doll.
I thought you were pulling up, but then I realized that grill was just your smile. You know what I mean? I
My
can't-
vote's still for Scar.
Annabelle.
I vote Annabelle.
Break the tie, somebody.
Yeah. Ultimately, still yes. It should be stated
Yeah.
that in The Lion Guard, which is the
Mm-hmm.
television sequel where Simba and Nala have a son as well,
Mhm.
Scar's spirit comes from the beyond and like wreaks all
Yes.
sort of havoc.
So he
So
could
there
fuck
is-
around. He could meet Annabelle on the spirit plane and take her down a little bit.
So yeah, it wouldn't be a completely uneven fight, but I do still
Listen,
think Scar
Linda.
versus Annabelle. Linda. I think Annabelle would still win, but it would not be
Not a
slam
down and
fest.
out brawler. Okay, so all right, I guess Annabelle still gets the vote, but
I do think she would like try and ride him, and they would have a weird sexual thing, and he would be like, "I get nothing from this," and she's like, "Doesn't matter, get eating." You know what I mean?
Why is your Annabelle so horny?
truly.
I don't know.
It's it's still Laurie Metcalf. Fuck you, Abuela. You don't deserve to go all the way.
Yeah, this one has to go to. I'm sorry. Like, in terms of monsters, yeah, Abuela is a monster. But
Yeah.
Ghostface 2 is an actual, like, psychotic murderer.
Abuela tries to turn around and do better towards the end of the movie.
It's true.
And Ghostface just, dies at the end of the movie.
Can we say the same for Ghostface 2? Where's her character redemption arc? I don't see it, so she's the bigger villain.
She wasn't Ghostface 3.
Kevo, you got anything here?
What are we currently leaning?
It's going to Ghostface 2.
Really?
Of course. What? Yes.
Yeah, but you wanted to see Abuela face off against Killer Bob.
I wanted Abuela versus Annabelle.
Abuela Bell.
Abuela Bell. Yeah, everyone's saying Ghostface, so I'm not even going to protest vote it. Everyone is down for Laurie Metcalf, so let's see where this goes.
Ghostface, done.
Annabelle.
Ghostface, done.
I'm sorry.
Done.
Annabelle for me. I love
Motherfucker.
Ghostface. I do. But Annabelle is literally unstoppable.
Oh,
dude.
shit.
So for me, if my vote was counting, it would be Annabelle, specifically
Your vote
because
counts. It's the same vote.
the same vote.
Same vote.
Twins. I specifically have to be careful with watching paranormal stuff because it freaks me out a lot more than like other kinds of horror. I have to be very particular about when and where I watch them. So for me, it's Annabelle.
So, Kevo, before you vote, I will ask you to think, which one would you rather see a drag look for? Annabelle or Debbie Salt? Come on.
Annabelle!
How many girls have done Annabelle already?
You
Nobody's
shouldn't
done
have
a
said
good.
that.
Nobody has done a
You
good
shouldn't
Debbie
have asked
Salt.
that.
In
Nobody's
terms of
asked
drag
that.
culture, we have a lot more Megans than we do have Annabelles.
Nobody has done a
I
good
want-
Debbie Salt.
I want Jinx Monsoon to do Annabelle
Hold
and
on.
sing Party Doll.
She probably already has. I want Jinx Monsoon to do Debbie Salt and to what would the song be?
No, I want
Hold
Katya to do
on.
Debbie Salt and literally rip her wig
Hold
off as she
on.
dances.
Yeah. It's got to be Ghostface with a blonde wig on, and then she rips off the ghost face and the blonde wig, and she is Laurie Metcalf.
Oh
This
This is a great idea. You can take
This
this.
is your drag look.
I know.
This is what you're saying. What?
That is exactly what I'm saying.
This
How can you
look?
so desperately not want to see that on a stage lip syncing to? Oh God.
I
Okay,
will
so I need a song from 1996.
Jellyhead by Crush.
Jelly. Oh my God. This is this act.
No.
I won't recover
Sorry,
until I see
brother.
this act.
You know what? Also, that look on the right, she could absolutely sing Lisa Stansfield's Been Around the World.
Okay, so now it's a threefold thing. First is Ghostface blonde wig, takes that off. It's Laurie Metcalf with the jacket on. Jacket and the short wig come off. There's another long wig on and a full dress under that.
And then a baby on the back.
Why did
And
they
that's
bother
Annabelle.
making a movie like The Crying Game? That twist had nothing on this.
It's
I'm gonna
true.
regret bringing this one in.
Yes!
Kevo, how are you not voting for this?
Dua Lipa would kill in this look.
We're going to see how she does in Argyle. I am quietly excited for that film and for Dula Peep's film debut. Doing dance moves where Henry Cavill's face is just right in the cooter. Okay, let's see how it goes. Kevo, tell me why you're voting for Laurie Metcalf. Tell me why you're voting for Laurie Metcalf, Kevo.
So the audience has, it seems, decided on Annabelle, which means that I, with you, TK, can cast a protest vote for Laurie Metcalf, since our vote doesn't matter and we are superseded. As
Audience,
points out,
you all have
she's a
betrayed me
great
today.
actress. She's a great actress. We love her. No, I don't want to see a drag take of her. That was not the
Yes.
right.
Yes,
That was
you
not the
do.
correct thing to ask to win.
I feel
But-
like y'all really have not given you at home watching have not given Scream
You're not
2
giving.
the time. Yeah, but you know who is giving? Laurie Metcalf in Scream 2, and
What's
I want
funny
you
is
to think
she's
about
actually
that.
mothering there.
Yeah.
She's mother.
But it goes to
Maybe
Annabelle.
take a
All right,
picture of
final
her.
showdown. It's Bob.
Hey.
It's Bob all the way. Listen, I had to say that you guys could pick Annabelle for that last vote, but here I actually do control the button, and I'm just going to pick Bob either way. I'm not going to disrespect David Lynch, Mark Frost, the ghost of Laura Palmer,
Hold on.
Dale Cooper,
It is
the ghost of
Christy.
Julie Cruz.
It's two
I'm not
degrees.
disrespecting these people.
And,
matching a mix.
Partly cloudy, and I invented Killer Bob. And
Exactly.
Heather.
So
What did he do
I-
a commercial for in France, and it was horrifying?
N64. His N64 commercial is disturbing.
Yeah, it's real good. So say whatever you like. This will be going to Bob. So just, say what you like.
It does go to Bob for me. This is a Killer Bob moment. It's a killer moment too. This is a great team up of epic proportions.
Two horrifying creatures that to experience one or the other would be
So
quite
you know
frightening.
how for a while we had those versus movies of like Jason versus
Yeah.
Freddy.
Yeah, that was that I also thought about putting that on this list.
I want not Sideshow Bob and Annabelle and not Megan to fight.
I love it.
I love it. I do give this to Killer Bob genuinely. The Twin Peaks universe is more frightening than the Conjuring universe, even if the Conjuring universe is pretty scary. I just think that Annabelle is a great character, but Killer Bob is the actual manifestation of terror.
Yeah.
He is. Or are you Annabelle looking at me?
Yes.
It's a very cute look for you. Yeah, you should be scarier though. You're a little too handsome.
Kello, once again, I will appeal to you. Imagine these as drag looks.
Oh my god, a Killer Bob Dracula. I actually
Crystal Method would come out in a Killer Bob drag
need
look.
Yep.
a Twin Peaks drag show in fall.
Katya
One
has
queen
done
wrapped
a
in
lot of
plastic.
Twin Peaks drag. She did a really good Log Lady. Katya's obsessed with Twin Peaks, but she did a really good Log Lady, and she did another one. Was it maybe Audrey Horne?
She has to have done Laura Palmer just for no other reason to go.
She has a Laura Palmer dress.
Yeah.
She wears pretty often.
That's amazing. Okay, I think it's got to go to Killer Bob, you guys.
I'm hitting it unless somebody stops me.
No, I think it does. As Tasty Cake says, push the button.
We're doing it,
As
guys.
Robbie
Oh,
says, justice for Annabelle.
justice
because,
for
no.
Annabelle. Listen, she made it really far, and despite my best efforts to stop her.
Yeah, and she
my
actually-
efforts to stop
She has
her.
a beautiful little line. If you scroll up slightly, it's just this little like do
Yeah.
that you
Yeah,
can
look at her
follow.
getting bigger and bigger, just taking over the world.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
it's
And then nope.
this was the best way to kick off the spooky season.
Fully agree.
I love getting scared. Nothing's better than being spooked out. I'm a Six Flags season pass holder. No big deal. I pay $13.99 a month. But I did a Fright Fest the other day, and I love being scared. And I was there with two very strong lesbians. And every time I got scared, I would be like, "Oh, it's because there's a person in the mirror." And when we got out of one of the haunted houses, they were like, "You literally say why you're afraid? That's interesting." And I'm like, it makes it less scary. And I love going to horror movies because I love being scared and going, "Oh no, that is just a camera flash," and talking down the fear. I love being scared, and I fucking love these villains, and I love these characters. And this was the best way to do this. Of this list, yeah, I think Killer Bob should have won. Does anybody have any other thoughts of who they think should have won?
I think had it been Ghostface 2 versus Killer Bob, it might have been a lot more of a difficult choice for me. A real Sophie's choice, if you will.
Oh wow.
How did Ghostface lose when Ghostface was literally a fourth of the contestants?
Truly cannot
That's really
begin to
funny.
imagine. I mean, because two of them are garbage, and then you guys are homophobic, so...
No, how could we be homophobic if we live in a house, TK?
How could we be homophobic if we voted for Annabelle? That's ridiculous.
Listen, this is tough
Robbie
to
is
deny.
informing us that he is going to a virtual haunted house tonight in Final Fantasy XIV.
Ooh, I'm
Uh,
excited.
Also, would have loved to see Oogie Boogie
Oogie
versus
Boogie. I
Annabelle.
thought about that, yeah.
I
A lot of these would be interesting.
I
Yeah.
conceded I think Pennywise actually is a very, 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 very horrifying. Besides my fear of clowns in general, just popcorn. It's just a little.
This
little
might be an
hashtag
interesting
much.
one to do again randomized.
Oh, yeah.
Also to do with randomized questions, which we love.
Oh yeah,
Who would
that
make
too.
a better pirate?
A wild card for this would be a blast.
Well,
Wild card, yes. Thank you.
I want to go out of my way to thank Tasty Cake and, of course, Robbie for being just absolutely the coolest audience members in the history of the world. Such big fans, and you guys are such amazing honorary members. Well, Robbie, you're a direct member of the Action Pack, but you guys are such members of our team, and it makes it so much more fun to have you guys part of the team. And speaking of people who are not with us every single episode, but I think their presence is always felt.
Just like
Talk about Tori.
No, I'm talking about this kid.
Just like a lot of these entities in these movies, their presence is felt somewhere.
I just want to point out that Robbie gave us 3 hearts and Tasty Cake only gave us 1 heart, so it
Oh,
definitely.
would you get out of here?
Like
Robbie
Robbie
gave
loves
us
us
4
3
hearts.
4 times,
You
4
can't-
times
you can't
more.
count.
I can't count. So
Ableist.
Don't listen to this
Being
guy.
ableist.
He doesn't even do numbers good.
So don't. I'm not a math.
He doesn't even like Laurie Metcalf.
It's true.
So,
But has she met the young cow yet? Or...
Jesus Christ! Now you don't get to say where we can find
Ow.
him. Jonah,
Oh,
where
and
can
here you
everybody
go. Here's your more hearts, you big
All right.
baby.
Well, Tasty Cake, just so you know, I have always thought that your cakes are super tasty. Thank you so much for being a part of our show, and Robbie for your incredible sense of humor and laughing with us. Now, Jonah, I'm going to stop you before you can make another cow joke. That was not brown
Well,
cow stunning.
Don't have one. That's number 1. Number 2, fun fact, because I live in the Philadelphia area, I used to work down by the Tasty Cake Factory. And it always looked like a place that I wanted to go in, but then realized maybe I don't want to see how any of that actually turns out. And I can just enjoy the sweets. But if you want to follow me, like you're a spirit or something, you can actually no spirits follow me. I take that back. You can follow me over on any social at Peak Jonah. That's PEAK.
Now, we could never. I want to go deactivate your window. Now,
Just push him over.
Get out.
Kevo, you are such a great sport about this. When you came into my world, you were not a horror guy, and you have spent 15 years trying to assimilate horror into your vernacular, and it has been incredible that I was able to make a list of horror movie monsters that I know you've seen at least one movie of. And
I've
Mental
seen a
World-
bunch.
Yeah. So, Kevo, thank you so much for running the board, and where can everybody find you on the interwebs?
You can find me online. Ostensibly at Kev O'Reilly. That's KEVOREALLY. Did I spell that correctly that time?
Oh, you
You
sure
did.
did.
Oh, good for me. And yeah, this was fun. I'm looking forward to a lot of the super cool plans that we have for holiday content this spooky season. We'll talk a little bit more about that soon. We got an awesome broadcast on deck for us tomorrow as well. And until then, Teak, where can the folks at home find you, sir?
What's your
You-
skosh?
You can find me worshiping at the altar of Laurie Metcalf at TK Elemental. That's it. That's all I have to say.
He's not gonna give
I'm
you
not
an
throwing it to
introduction.
you.
He's not
Nico,
throwing it to you.
You can
He's
take it
mad.
over
The
for yourself.
horror- the
Since you
horror
dashed
up.
my dreams.
Where can everybody find you?
Thank you, Jonah.
Disrespecting Laurie Metcalf at
I'm gonna go watch Bang after this.
Annabelle Lover.
Doll lover boy. Go play with your weird shark
.org.
man. Boop. You guys can find me online everywhere at Nico Action. It's NICOACTION. But more important than that, you can check out everybody here on this show at X's for Show on all your socials. It means the world to us when you guys like, follow, subscribe, and participate in the comments. Nothing is more fun than getting to play these games alongside you guys. So until next time, 3 things you got to do. Number 1, you better stay safe. Number 2, you got to be brave. And number 3, you better evolve daily. That's what you got to do. And until you do those things, like, subscribe, and comment more. I guess it's 6 things. We'll see you.
It's lots of stuff,
Bye.
but it's okay because
It's
we
homework.
love you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but
love
fun
homework. Yeah.
Love work. There you go.